How you doing, everybody? This is Maxx Fairo. This is Dex Signals. This is we're putting together a live format, if you will, for trading. So please bear with me. We are working on this new system, as you kind of see, and I'm broadcasting live just to kind of make sure that the frame rates, the sound, everything kind of works out, just to kind of make sure that we're there. At the same time, I want to sort of take this time to welcome all of you to this live show, but also start to talk to you about the process of the trades and what we're doing and what we've accomplished. You probably see two logo bugs up here, Dex Signals and Dex Indicators.net, not .com, .net. In fact, I think I can even take that one down. But what we started to do is to utilize some of our systems in trading. As most of you know, we have DexSignals.com, of course, and we pride ourselves on what we're doing here and constantly growing. We're in constant growth, if you will. So we really look forward to being able to provide a lot of indicators and signals and everything else. So tonight, what I'm going to be working on is a little bit between Dex indicators and Dex signals, if you will, from that process. So we're going to be looking at some of the solutions that we provide, and also, of course, we're going to be doing some of the actual trades live. We're actually going to be trading live here in just a moment. I'm going to refresh my Facebook page to see, because we're in test mode. We want to make sure that everything's working. So this will be one of the final tests as we get used to using the new broadcast software, as well as the mainline system here. So this is pretty cool. If you do have questions, I'm going to try to originally get a indicator or somebody like a moderator inside the room for when we do. I'm just kind of looking to see if there's comments in here that I can kind of watch at the same time. I'm going to try to keep everything moving forward. I'm noticing some FPS issues, some frames per second issues, some frame rate issues happening. At the same time, I have a lot going on, so I wanted to make sure that that the system was doing the best it can, and with the computer system I have, and if I was going to need to get just a ton more computing power to make stuff happen. And I do have some good equipment here. We run a lot of stuff. I even have the Mac in the background that I could possibly even use for the solution. I also wanted to test to see what our main system looked like when we went to, and there's my ugly mug going live, but when we went to using our Nadex, from our Nadex platform to our charting software and charting system. I know this looks really confusing, isn't it? But in all actuality, it's pretty easy to understand. And one of the things that we use right away, and I'll quickly show you here, we're just going to create a quick price action chart. That's a joke, I'm sorry. A price action chart is just really just a simple chart with no indication on it. You know what I mean? But what we use is two of our own. One I developed just yesterday, and another one that I developed a while ago and started to really work with is our Dex support and resistance. As I drag that over, let me see if I can load this in. Okay, that's it. And I'm going to change out this green line. There we go. There's our Dex support and resistance. And I'm also going to add on our just one other indicator, very simple. It's just a trend reversal system here that I'm going to add on as well. I don't think I got my keys on. I don't have my own license key. Go figure, right? So let me see what I can do here to get my license key up on that system as we go. I bet you I can log in pretty quickly and go get it. That's pretty embarrassing. But we have been working very hard, and that's a brand new indicator on there. It's actually a reversion of a version of one that I had a while ago, and had to remake that process just recently. I'm heading over to the indication system right now. We're going to go into, let's see, let me show you this process. I don't even know if you guys can see this process. There we go. I'm going into my trend reverse, going to go to dexindicators.net. There we go. Everything is a monthly charge for all the indicators, all that stuff. I've never seen an indication company that was one charge for everything. One price for every single indicator that we have. All right, there we go. I'm going to grab that. And don't worry, I know some of you are going to try to copy that code, but you ain't going to get there because I'm going to end up deleting it at the end of it anyway. All right, let me go into my system. Let's see, get to trend, Dex trend. There we go. Paste and hit OK. Yep, there we go. Didn't think it was going to work for a second because it said invalid key. Go figure. All right, so in this system, we're going to be doing some 5-minute trades. So I'm going to jump down to a 1-minute time chart here on this process. I'm also going to kind of save this as a template in my system. We're just going to call this support and resistance and trend reversal 5-minute. That's going to call that 5-minute. There we go. That way we know. So we can add on this indicator to others. And in fact, I can even delete this one. We got a 1-minute chart here. We got British Gold Pound. Now on the Nadex platform, there's really only 4 pairs that they use this process with. So for 5 minutes. So I'm only going to use those 4 pairs: USD JPY, British Gold Pound USD, AUD USD, and the Euro USD. I'm only going to use those 4 because that's all they really have here on. Let me get over to Nadex. I'm going to be using my demo because we're testing this platform out with a handful of nights of trading this process. Let me get over to find the 5 minutes. There they are, Forex, and there's the 4 big boy pairs. Okay. Now, how my system works here is simple. I have a bunch of marks that point down, a bunch of marks that point up. That's basically it, right? There's only 2 indicators on this series. Could you add more? Could you add other stuff to it? Yeah, absolutely. But the ultimate process, how this works, each one of these lines, you see like a little green line, a blue line. Of course, the black line is the current price of where it's going. These blue and green lines are support and resistance. Even this purple one are all different medium strengths and different strengths. It all depends on what your indicator color has been deemed to. So if you've changed, here's the basic intraday color is the Dodge blue. A medium is the magenta, and of course the strong support and resistance line. Now, if you don't know what support and resistance is and all that stuff, maybe you should take a free class over at our dexsignals.com. Join up free. There's some orientation stuff in there, some real easy stuff on learning what support and resistance is, and a few other things. Lifesaver, by the way. Coffee. But I also have a lot of water too, so I drink a lot of water. But tonight I'm drinking some coffee because it's late. Now, I have it on a 1-minute chart. And on the support and resistance, what I do, because the market moves so fast, right? Because it's moving at a tremendous speed. We know that when I get an arrow that appears on my 3-minute or 8-minute mark, right? Because they happen every 5 minutes. And I get that arrow that happens. I look for, if it's a down arrow, I look for a line that's above it, a support or resistance that's above it. So this would be a resistance line above it. If there is none, if I pull back a little bit and I can kind of see that the next one up is so far, it's way up here, right? Okay, it's a couple picks up from that position. So I could come up a pip to do that. Okay. Or I can even come up to the actual, now they're strategically placed. As you can kind of see, sometimes they're a little bit closer, sometimes they're a little bit further away. If there's a direct line behind it, say something like where this one is here, or like this one right here, you can use the one that's above it, right? And that's one I would suggest you do. Now, with our system too, if you're picking a strike for a sell, you always want to add 2 more pips or another pip and a half to that strike price. So like 1206, which is this where this line is at right now. If I were to pick that one, I'd really want about 1208. And the reason being is because the indicative on Nadex is about 2 pips apart. Later on here next week, we're starting to get the API systems over from Nadex, and we'll have actual prices. Even all of our indicators will have Nadex pricing in it. Yeah, go figure. It's true. So what I do is I put them into a 4 marker position like this, right? 4 screen mark in here. And what I do is I just wait for that 3 minutes and 4 minute time period. Like right now it's 7:24. And I can kind of see that at 7:24, this marker shows up. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a marker that's right around now. I go into the Euro USD. I pull it up full screen. Okay. I pull it up full screen and I'm looking for where's my mark. And that's at 1206. Now remember that I said that you have to go back 1 or 2. You have to go up 1 or 2. Boy, there's a whole bunch in here. 1206. It's but this time's almost end. So what I'm looking for, 1206 is 1208, but they don't have 1208. They really only have 1209 and even 1207. You could take the extra risk at that point and pop in there. That's at 2650. I'm going to put that. I'm going to put that down for 1 in there, and I'm going to hit my place order. And that was for the sell. And there it is. Okay. Now, I've done this, and I've, right before replacing the trade, should have gone back and looked at that process. See, here's 1207, 1208. Make sure that, you know, I'm within a good margin there, and it looks pretty good. We're just going to sit here now. Now, we could also add, if we wanted to, okay, while we're waiting for that to sort of come to bear a little bit, you could add, under trend, you can add a moving average. You can add a 50 and a 20 if you wanted to kind of get yourself a good trend line to work with. You could also add, if you wanted to, you could add a double stochastic or stochastic or even a 14-3-3 for a slow stow kind of, or fast stow kind of process. You see, so everything sort of has that process of being able to go down. And see, here's 1207 on the mark. You know, it's pretty far out there, even though that we are at 1207, we're at 2 pips off. That's basically where we're sitting at. Now, one of the other things is that what we can do is do if we're scalping, right? If we're scalping, we want to kind of look at, you always want to sell more than you buy for, right? Now, being that we basically got into this as a sell at 26.50, if we wanted to sell this for about 50% profit, we want to make about 13 bucks on this, right? So if that's the case, we would then have to reduce the amount there. So we had to say we bought it for 13 to make 13 because it's 26, right? So I'd want to come in here and do $13 on this thing. Now look at it. It's already at $17. And we got a pretty good run. So I'm going to go ahead and scout that out right now, just manually at 17.50. And there we go. There's the money. Yeah, that was just made. Okay. Now this is a demo account because we are testing, but let's be real. I'm testing this process out. I just scalped it out at 17.50. So, because I'm not really worried about it. Now I put that in my journal, 17.50 on the Euro USD. And now I have a couple minutes to spare. So basically in about 3 minutes, made $17.50 at that position if we were trading live. But again, I'm demoing these out. Last night I did close to, it was 200 and something bucks. I forget what it was. Let me go see if I can find that here. Switch to camera 2. Let's go have a look, see if I can find that. Okay. Okay. I had to see what I sounded like if it was coming through okay. So that's basically it. Let me see if I can find that Gmail. Because I'm waiting just for a couple more minutes for that for it to come back around. We're at the 28 mark. We're at the 28 mark. Let's see here. We're going to pull this up here. Okay. So I think I got that from this one right here. There we go. Let me see. Just give me another second. Sorry. Okay. All right. Yeah, it was $248 last night that we made just sitting here. We did like 11 trades to that extension. Sorry, I just seen. Hey everybody, how you doing? Thanks a lot for hanging out. I think there's other people in doing the system in there too. All right, let's see if we can get over to the screen again. I'm going to do just another quick look at trades, and we're going to kind of go from that position there. Let's see here, 3. I'm going to switch to camera 3. There we go. And shoot over to the process. Go back to my 4 square. Now I'm looking again, because it's right around that 30-minute mark. I'm looking for anything that has an arrow at that time period up. We can look at this one. It's came in at the 26 mark, so I'm not really confident in that one. We have an up, but a reversal bar. We have a blue here. It's kind of being a little bit condescending in the process. Could we come up to this one? But because there's a down arrow and an up arrow with a support line right here, I don't really trust it. Could we come up to right around here, 27.34, with a good strong? If we look at the, let's pull back a little bit and have a look. I don't have a good warm and fuzzy from this position, especially since it's sort of over a little while been sort of messing about. Let's look at what it looks like on a 15-minute chart. We're in a downtrend from that position on a 15-minute chart. 30-minute, we're on a down. Everything's on the down. So there's a possibility. And again, this is where a good stochastic might work out pretty good. So if I pull this over and do a 14.33 on that, again, we're using the, man, my ear really hurts. I had a sound go off earlier. It felt like it blew my eardrum out. And again, we're in an incline upwards towards the overbought area. So I probably wouldn't use this one as a good model to get into as a good trade. And again, this is not about picking a bunch of trades per hour. This is about finding that solution very quickly, okay? Because the money moves very fast, but you have to be solid in the ones that you're getting in, right? See on this British Gold Pound USD. Let me put a stochastic on that one up there as well. Cancel me. Right there. We're going to do another 14.33. This is just a fast stochastic that I'm getting into the position. Again, going up into the overbought zone. This could be a possibility for that, but again, here is a arrow on the 32 mark, but I don't see this as being something that we should be using in that solution in there. All right. Everything seems to be coming up into the overbought zone. If I do get up there and I do have a crossover when it comes back down, then I start to look at, and that's another part of the process that you can start looking at very easily to do. And again, I'm using the deck signals, version of the of a support and resistance, a trend reversal system of where the arrows and the trend reversal lines, a stochastic, and that's it basically. And I think there's even a 50 EMA on the system here. But again, that's only for me help for me to really see a good value of trend. Here we get a nice little crossover. Each one is sort of giving me that overbought zone. This could have been something that we could have stayed with that, knowing that it's coming up in that area. But there again, we're all about we're not here to guesstimate. The indications, the systems themselves will tell us what's happening as we go in this, using a price action process of support and resistance, some stochastic movement of a moving average, and or stochastic and a moving average to kind of help us with that process. But I wouldn't be surprised if I see another line come up. But again, I'm not just going to guesstimate and try to pick the waves. I'm looking for that movement and those special things that happen. All right, so basically this is it for now. I wanted to be able to do a quick test. I think we just got our first dot. There's our first dot right there. Looks like we're about to have that, but I'm not getting a good trend. Okay, there it is. 1207. I can look at 1207, and there's my arrow. I'm at the 34 mark, so I'm going to wait until the 35 mark. This is my first one, Euro USD. I'm going to get over, but I'm looking to kind of up to 1207, maybe even 1209. There's 1209. We got about 18 seconds left for this to finish out. And that's real important. You have to let the other one finish out. You're waiting for on that 3 mark or 4 mark or 8 mark or 9 mark, minute mark, okay? Because they come out every 5 minutes. Now, there's 1209, right? So if it has anything on it when it comes live here in a minute, in a second, 09 doesn't have anything on it. 07 does. So as it starts to filter out here on its direction, I think we're going to not have any luck of getting in at the 09 series, because unless it raises up some. So we might want to stay, because it's on 07, and I'm not going to put an out of the money trade in. There's also something you can do. You can put one in and do a working order. So if you're going to do a working order on something like this, you're going to have it on there limited. Okay, so I'm going to put a place order in right now. I'm going to put this working order in. I put it at a $22 on the sell because we want to have at least $22 profit margin on there. If it was on the buy, I'd put it at 78 because that would be $22 profit margin. Now, I'm only going to leave this on to like the last 2.5 minutes to 2 minutes left. Okay, if it doesn't fill by then, I don't have a good warm and fuzzy about it. Okay, if it does fill, then I'm going to ride it out and hope for the best because I'm at 1209. But if it doesn't fill at this point, because the numbers are good, right? The numbers are good. The value, the distance, the direction, the indication is good. I'm not going to put I'm not going to take it out. I'm going to wait for it to either get to my point of scalping, or if I feel really comfortable with it, I'll let it go to expiry. So if I feel like it's not going to fill, I don't want to keep it there to the last second, because if it stays wavering in between, it can always jump up 3 or 4 pips. And it usually, before the end of the expiry, starts to get the most volatile, okay, on these 5-minute expiries. So I don't want to get trapped in that little bidding war of the market makers or anybody else in there, of the other traders. So I want to remove myself from the end of the war. You know, I'm in the middle right now, and I'm okay with that. And see, because it's staying solid, I feel like it's gaining momentum and tension. And because this number is going up and up and up and up, I don't think it's going to come back down. But there's not a lot of liquidity right now happening on this Euro USD because we're at 1207.3 and it's at $75. So that really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I think what they're trying to do is entice a whole bunch of people to get in for possible OTM. So be careful of the bait. You know, you got to look at it as like, man, that looks awfully juicy, right? Why wouldn't I just take a gander, and why don't I just take a shot at that at $62 on the sell side? Yeah, I'm almost tempted, you know, because you just got to go down, you know, 0.3 of a pip to win, even 0.2 of a pip to win, and it's at $70. I mean, that's pretty. But again, I feel like it's gaining tension. If your gut tells you, hey, look, something doesn't feel right, don't trade it, right? Don't take advantage of things like that. Just don't trade it. It's that simple. All right. All right, we got about a minute left. Okay, so we're under that. So I'm going to take this off because there is so much tension there. I'm going to delete this working order. We're not going to take advantage of that process because it just doesn't make any sense. Now let's go back and look at our charts. And again, still kind of, it's being real springy right there. You can't see it on the chart so well. If I were to come in a little bit, you might be able to see it. There's these dojis that are happening, a spinning top that's happening. Now, this means that the battle, they're so unsure on the battle of the bears and the bulls in these 1 minute time frames that they don't really know what's going on. So I'm going to kind of steer away completely and pull away from that process. Now, because we're at the 38 mark and 39 mark, we're looking for arrows, right? We're looking for another arrow. So British Gold Pound USD on that 1 minute, we have an arrow there. We're looking pretty good at that. But because we're right at that bar, I want to kind of come up a little. I want to see even if there is a bar above. There's not. So I'm going to peg the arrow tip as where I'm going to put my line at. And that is at, let me see here, 0.2733. So I want to stay at 3.5. I'm going to drop down here, go to British Gold Pound USD, and make sure that we wrote that down. I didn't write that down. 2733. So 2733, we're going to go to 2735 if that one's still around at that point. Switching to camera 2 just for a second so I can check Facebook. All right. Now it looks like, let me get back in there. We'll switch back to camera 3. Let's see, where were we? Let's get over to Nadex. Here we go, 27733. There's 33 right there. Again, 3.5. There's not really a lot of liquidity tonight. We're only really in 2 bars here. I don't really feel comfortable with doing a 2733. Let me get over to, even though that's where that's at. There's a heavy resistance line there at 3.2. I'll make it about 3.4. Let's see where we're at right now. See, we possibly should have trusted our instincts there. And we didn't go for that, but we possibly could and probably scalped out of that by now from that solution. So a little bit of hesitation there, but I'd rather hesitate and not get into that trade because it's too close, it's too springy for me, okay? Now, this would have definitely yielded out a nice little scalp at that point because we would have gotten it at a good price at $23, $24. So we'll just wait. And again, trading the 5-minute binaries too, we get that opportunity just to wait a couple minutes for a tone to reset, process to reset. So I don't want to take too much more of your time tonight. We were going to just kind of quickly go through this. I wanted to see how it looked and how it felt to kind of get this stuff out there. But I want to thank you all for taking the time to join me tonight just for a few minutes just to kind of have a look. If you have an opportunity, take advantage of our free section on our DEX signals. And we're just starting to come out with dexindicators.net to be able to help people get to that next level of trading using charts and activations and signals and stuff. All right. I'm Maxx Fairo. This is DEX TV Live, I guess you could call it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks a lot for helping me test this stuff out. And see you soon, and trade well.